So it is December 19th, 2021, and last night or yesterday I didn't do any recordings, I don't believe, of anything, any new recipes or anything, but I did make a new adjustment to a recipe because my sister purchased me, well, I paid her back for a new type of vegan mayonnaise. It's another variety of vegan avocado mayo. It's different brands, different manufacturing process too. It's a bit off-white. It's more off-white than the other. Or actually, they're both off-white, but this has got more of a annatto type of turmeric-like coloring, almost like a beta carotene, or there's some carotenoids in there, or maybe not. Maybe it's actually quite green, kind of like because the avocado oil. Or I may be wrong, because you know what? It also has rosemary extract in there, which may give it that mint-like color to the opaqueness of where the vegan avocado mayo of the other brands had a similar off-white color, but this is more green than a bit, let's say, gray or yellow looking. This has a bit of an extra green coloring to it. And that's probably because the rosemary extract, possibly. Yes. So I used only a whopping tablespoon of this variety. It's great. It's good. I like it how they add that rosemary extract to it. This is let's say this is more of a, I don't like saying the word, I'm not going to say the word gourmet. I don't like that people would classify anything really vegan as gourmet, because this would be more like, I would consider it more like Bling, in some ways, where it's like edible Bling. It's like you deserve it. You deserve to treat yourself with something that's a little bit more elaborate, that is well done. You know what I'm saying? In a very unique way. So that's kind of like edible Bling, what I'm trying to describe. Whereas another form of currency, it is another form of currency. People need some type of method of, like, because here, for instance, I only used one whopping tablespoon of this stuff instead of, let's say, the 2 to 3 whopping tablespoons of this variety, the Vegenaise. There's a difference, obviously. And so that with the one whopping tablespoon, not only that, it has more flavor because the rosemary extracts. It's special, you know what I'm saying? Where when people are not getting that type of trade off, let's say there's a prohibition. I'm dealing with some other type of prohibition currently where it's like, I'm stuck here basically, and I don't feel like really continuing to work on my projects or anything like that unless I had a real reason to. Whereas, like, there would be that type of need. You know what I'm saying? Whereas I don't. I already demonstrated that basically here. There's not enough light in here. See, I already demonstrated enough. That I would be able to continue doing, other things that would require the same techniques. It's a good enough demonstration. Anyways, so, oh yeah, That's not the I created Frugal, for instance, the web app search engine. I started working on, let's say, in 2014. I started that project. I added extra features to it when I was here, but that I needed to, draw the line to, stop and wait. So I made more of this vegan eggless tofu egg salad to make a sandwich. What I'm gonna do right now, and I guess she didn't do the plates yesterday. Yeah. What I'm trying to explain is this trade-off. Like, I'm not like I there's no reason for me to work on any art projects unless I was able to get in touch with this girl I grew up with for 7 years. And then I would have made her, let's say, a replica of that Atari T-shirt to begin with. If I can't find it anywhere to buy, because it's a very hard to find T-shirt to, let's say, find anywhere it being sold, because it's an older T-shirt. But I'd be able to, digitally, crop out the logo and then recreate it, and then have it printed professionally with, let's say, Cafe Press or Zazzle, something like that, like I had done with the portrait inside. Now, see, what else was I going to say? So that is another form of, let's say, currency. Having a girlfriend, wife, girl that you hang out with. That's another way of balancing out a the amount of work one would continue to go beyond that threshold. You see what I'm saying? You have to draw a line of when to stop. Otherwise, you're doing stuff constantly for no reason, for free. You're wasting energy and everything. You know what I mean? It's like doing work for. Why do work for free if you're not going, getting reciprocation for the work that you're doing? You see? Why do the work if you're not going to get the reward? That's what I'm trying to say. So in my case, when it comes to, like, I okayed the fact that my sister spent a little extra money temporarily that I would pay her back. I didn't ask for this, but I'm okay with her, I didn't complain about it, because it's like chocolate. It's like it's like Gertrude Hawk, but I can't eat Gertrude Hawk. I can't eat that variety because of the dairy and the eggs that they may put in there. I know that they put dairy. I know it's milk chocolate. I can't eat that. So that's my version of, let's say, the Starbucks, or when Au Bon Pan to get the Mediterranean wrap. I used to go there, and that's a way, it's a luxury that is convenient, and it reduces the amount of, like, labor of making it at home all the time. And it's just, it's nice and convenient to be able to purchase that Mediterranean wrap, you know what I'm saying, if you're out. And it tastes great, but, like, let's see, those type of things is kind of like the edible bling for, let's say, a web app developer. That type of thing. There's they have to start. People have to start really looking at things, not just like food. It's not just food. It's like when we were kids growing up. There are people who still eat like chips that have monosodium glutamate in them and other preservatives and additives, and, like, I know that some of the fast food uses sodium pyrophosphate, and that's even in frozen, let's say, French fries. But they may not use it in their French fries, but in frozen French fries that you buy at the grocery store in the bag, is sometimes sprayed with sodium pyrophosphate as a way to warm it up and bake it faster or something like that. But when it comes to, when you get older, you need to survive. If you're having a bit of a health complication, if you have food allergies, sensitivities, digestive issues of indigestion, you have to make adjustments with with one's eating, and then the fact of the skill sets that you've had polished in your life. Whereas I'm technically professional. I can claim to be a professional web app developer. I can take that title. Whereas I could also say I'm professional at doing image photo manipulation, like Photoshop, and when it comes to compositing things and stuff like that, I can say those things, that I'm confident in those areas. I also studied audio engineering and sound design on my own terms. I also, when I was a kid, I was a great illustrator, but I had to go off onto a bit of a tangent to study web app development or web programming, database, all the other stuff I talk about in my profile. So it's like, and when I was in high school, see, people think that what I do currently is like the stuff that I was doing when I was in high school. Those who don't know that don't know me as far back as then, currently today, those people that didn't know me when I was a kid growing up, when they look at my work, they think of it as stuff like the way the work I was doing when someone would be doing when they're in high school, like when I was in high school. But I had other projects that were that I had a bunch of things I worked on while growing up from that time period, where most of it was things that I had actually continued to apply up until this present day and onward. Whereas, like, initially it was dynamic programming, where you would use math in order to illustrate and animate the content on, let's say, within the web browser and make it interactive. That I did, let's say, 18 years ago onward, as far back as 18 years ago plus 7 years, from the age of 13 up until I was 18. And then I had taken those same techniques and applied it to database driven, where the front end interface is dynamic and extensible based off of the data that is stored and retrieved in the database. That's the comparable thing. Also, I still do page interactions, like the JEndo API thing I was working on, where you can slide your finger across the screen, and what it does is it basically takes the width of the window at first and then multiplies the burgundy square by 4 and duplicates it, and then there's a hidden horizontal scroll bar that I hide with cascading style sheets, I believe. And so it makes where one would on the touch screen be able to slide their finger across it, it's able to pick up that to scroll it horizontally, because there's that hidden horizontal scroll bar. It uses set timeout and set interval. I think it was set timeout. I believe I used not set interval. It was set timeout, and so yeah, it does this whole thing where, like, it divides up where it's supposed to stop halfway. Once it goes beyond the threshold of the halfway mark, it either continues going in the direction that the person slides their finger, or it stops, depending on if it passes that threshold of how many pixels to the right or to the left or whatever it may be. So, I mean, that's similar to the stuff I was doing as far back as when I was in high school. That's why it was easy for me